Hey guys, today I thought I would share with you a cold run of my BAD or balance assessment drill. Now, balance assessment drill is exactly what the name entails. It is an assessment of your shooting skill at a distance of 15 yards with a 5-second par time. Now, as you can see downrange, I've got 3 targets set up, and of course that's so that we can score them separately. You could do this with one target, again, at the same distances, and you're going to score 3 different strings of fire. The first string of fire, of course, all of them have the 5-second par time. First string of fire is going to be shooting as many rounds into the target as you can, scoring everything at the end of that 5 seconds. So alphas are all 5 points. Whether you're shooting 40 cal, 45, 9mm, or anything else, Charlies are worth 3 points and deltas are worth 1 point. And you're going to tally up that total score and put it at the top of that target. Then you'd pace it up. Then the next string, back to the 15-yard line again, and you're going to fire another 5-second par time. Only this time, alphas are only what scores. So nothing outside the A zones counts for score. So you're going to tally up the alphas and you're going to write that as your second score. Then on the third string, things get a little more interesting where alphas are only thing that counts for score. However, anything outside the A zone, a Charlie or a Delta, takes away one of your precious alphas. So you really have to have a good balance in between each string of fire as to what's most important. So on the first string, you could probably shoot a little bit more aggressive. The second string, you're going to have to shoot a little bit more careful. And then, of course, that third string, you're really going to have to kind of drive the balance into where you're shooting really deliberate to ensure not to drop too many points outside the A zone, or your score will be null and void on that third string. Now, you can't go negative on the points on the third string. You just go all the way down to 0. So if you shot 4 alphas and 4 Charlies, that ends up being a 0 score and it's a wash. The goal of this exercise is to be able to have all 3 strings of fire be as even as possible, meaning that you're implementing just the right amount of aggression, carefulness, or deliberacy to each of your strings of fire. So I've got my 3 strings, my 3 shots of targets set up. I'm going to go ahead and set everything up here, and I'm going to fire all 3 strings, and then we'll go down range and score everything together and kind of see where my balance assessment is today. So this first string, everything on the target counts. It's going to be our target number 1. Make sure we're time setting here. Here we go. So I'm at 5.23. So we're going to use this kind of just like we would USPSA scoring, where 5.30 is still in, but 5.31 puts you out. So any shot overtime in 5.31 or greater takes away one of your highest scoring hits. So it looks like I shot 14 rounds. So we're going to be looking for 14 on that first target and scoring those up. Now I'm going to go set up for string 2, which would be target number 2 here, and only alphas count. My job is to try to be as aggressive as I can, but be just careful enough so that I'm not shooting too many shots outside the A zone because they don't count for anything. Ready for string 2. Here we go. Stand by. And it looks like I might have dropped 1 or 2 out of there, but that's a total of 14 rounds also in 5 seconds exactly. So now my third string, which is the one I have to be the most careful on or have to be the most deliberate on, is I don't want to try to bleed any shots outside of this. So I'm going to set this back up for my third string. And here we go. and I'm at 5.30 exactly on the third string with a total time or a total number of 14 shots also fired on the third string. So now let's go down range and we are going to take a look at all three targets. I'm going to grab my ink pen here so that we can tally up our full aggregate score. So on target one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So apparently the timer only picked up 14 shots, but I do have 15 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 times 5, that's 60, 65, 70, 75 points on the first string. Okay, now we come down to string two. String two, I knew I had a couple of shots just outside. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 shots fired. I've got 2 out. So I've got a total of 12 in for 60, which is good. So what I didn't do is I didn't try to hemorrhage too many points down by trying to shoot faster than I can get the gun to kind of return back to just the A zone. So we got a pretty good balance of 75 points on the first one. I probably could have turned up the pace a little bit more on that first one because I didn't have anything outside the A zone. So I would look at my time on this as I assess my score and say, okay, great. I got all A's there. I could allow myself to press the trigger a little faster and maybe allow a couple of close Charlies in there too, because it still would add to my score. So a good first run score for me generally lies in around that 90 to 95 point range, but that's really pushing it. Second string though at 60 points tells me, man, that really close Charlie there and that far Charlie here, that close Charlie would have been nicer to have in there. 65 would have given me pretty close to the same as my first string. Now my third string, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in and 1 out. So now a total of 12 in. This is where it hurts, but fortunately, a total of 60 points on my third string. So again, really good balance. I've got 60 where it really counts. I've got 60 again where I don't necessarily get punished for having a shot outside the Charlie, other than I just don't outside the A, but I just don't get to score any points on it. And then of course I could have gone a little bit more aggressive on the first string with a total of 75. So altogether that's a 195. 60 and 60s 120 plus 75 more for a total of 195. That's a pretty good solid score for an absolute cold run assessment. In this case, consisting of about 45 rounds. So I hope you enjoy this. I'd like to see everybody give this a try at their next range session. There is no like good or bad. Like that's what I mean by this being an assessment drill. This is a general assessment of how well you can control the gun, how good your structure is on the gun, and how well you're able to return the gun back to the same spot. And then of course, and how aggressive, how careful, and how deliberate you need to be between each strings of fire. So give it a try at your next range session and let me know your results. Talk to you soon.